Welcome to City Talk. This is a weekly program. It's a radio program. It's a podcast. It's a TV program that we originate from our studios here in City Hall, that we share information about the city of Waco. I'm Larry Holsey, Director of Municipal Information and Communication for the city of Waco. Today, I'm going to like to welcome Jessica Emmett, who is with the Waco McLennan County Libraries. Good morning, Jessica.
Yes, good morning.
Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely.
The library has always offered so many programs, and normally we have you on to talk about things during the summer. We have you talk about the thing, but your programming has had to be changed quite a bit because of COVID. Mm-hmm. There was a time back in the March, April time or whenever it was, when businesses were forced to close, the library was forced to close. Mm-hmm. And so now you're open at least for your in-person. Kind of describe to our audience the changes you all have had to make, you know, like your hours and some of the accesses and mm-hmm. computers and things. But library is open, and you're doing a great business. Tell us what you've adjusted and having to do.
Yeah, so in order to provide the best and most complete service in the time that we have sort of some limited resources, we are going to be open 10 to 6, Monday through Friday. So no evenings or weekends right now. But we do still have our 4 locations, and all of them are open. The doors are open. People can come in, they can browse, they can check things out, which is nice. So that's definitely kind of a little bit return to normal. But we are continuing our curbside service because we know that there are people who may be a little bit more vulnerable or uninterested in coming into the building.
That has been a huge success.
Absolutely. Talk
about that. And then you can keep on going. But
sure.
While we're on curbside, talk about how easy that is and how people can do that.
Yeah. So we've always been able to place holds and come pick them up at the library online. And so now we kind of expanded that to where when you place holds, you tell us that you're on your way up to the library, and we'll bring them out. And we have a contactless delivery system that's set up so that people can safely get those things that they are wanting to check out. And that's kind of how, so you mentioned our summer programming. That's how we got prizes to a lot of people too, was they would call and say, hey, we're ready to pick up our prizes. Can we come do that curbside? And we said, absolutely. So we made sure that happened. And we actually started our curbside service the second week after the closure in the mid-March. So we started this a long time ago. We've been...
Yeah. Well, it works really good because I know y'all have a table outside and whatever else, mm-hmm. and your staff comes and puts the things on the table, mm-hmm. and the customers come and pick it up off the table, touchless and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you all sanitize the books and things when you get them back,
we do.
And all that kind of thing. So, but I know you've had to make adjustments inside. Mm-hmm. I know your computers, or your public access computers, are a big part of what you all provide.
Yeah.
But they're now available only by appointment.
Yeah, so we have less computers that are available because we have to maintain those social distancing protocols. And normally the computers are you're kind of shoulder to shoulder with people. So we made sure that people have enough space to be safe that way. And then also the appointments, we have an appointment system where you can make an appointment online yourself, or you can call us, or if you come in and there's one available, we'll set you up with that kind of thing as well. So you don't have to have online access at home, but you can get set up for that. And then that way we know when you're going to get on the computer, we know when you're going to get off the computer. That way we can sanitize that station, make sure that it's safe for the next person.
All kind of changes.
Yeah.
You all have made amazing adjustments, and it's sad because there's a lot of things that you've offered, mm-hmm. always like story time, and a lot of your weekend programs and things that had to be canceled and put off. But I know you still are providing some really neat things because we've helped here in our studio with your story time.
Yeah.
I know Miss Vivian, one of our cherished people for more than 20 years, I guess. She just retired. Y'all had an amazing drive-by retirement party and reception for her. Mm-hmm. And you now have a new children's librarian.
We do.
We'll hear about that. Yeah. And then we'll talk about some of the library story times that you all have done virtually.
Yeah. So we started that in summer when we realized that we weren't going to be able to have the face-to-face programming that we rely on throughout the summer. We said, what can we do? What kind of talents do we have? And we know we have our wonderful children's librarians who are great storytellers. And so we worked with you guys to put on those videos so they look really great and they're excellent and professional and it's wonderful. And then we have all the guest storytime readers as well, which is great. We had people from Fleet and Animal Services and our city manager's office. So the one that we aired most recently was our new deputy city manager. So then we've got that that one came out, and so that's really exciting. It's really fun to see people who you don't normally see reading. They get so excited about it, and they do such a great job. People love to see that, and it helps with that variety as well. Which is
they
nice.
love it too, because
Yeah.
I know when they come in our studio, we're talking about people who are high-level management of our city. That deal with millions of dollars of funding and taxes and money and all this kind of stuff. But they come into our studio and can kind of relax.
Yeah.
And they get to tell a story and read a children's book. And they do a good job of
Yeah.
it. We have some good characters that work for the city of Waco, too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But they do. And it's great to be able to share those people, those faces, first of all, with the children and the families that watch the video.
Yeah, and we love inviting our police and fire to come into the library whenever we're having face-to-face story time. So to see them do the virtual story time on the videos was really exciting too.
And everybody loves to see that fire
They
truck outside.
definitely do. So yeah.
Well, I know, so many different things, and Storytime is one of your programs, but you have so many other programs, especially during the summer.
Yeah.
You've had a summer reading program and things like that. Is that still active, or is that out
So the Summer Reading Club actually ended at the end of July. So now we're kind of getting into our fall time when we would normally kind of have some back to school related things. September is library card sign up month, so we usually do things for that. So we're doing those things and celebrating those things just in a way that doesn't kind of bring everybody together in the same place. So.
Well, that's one of the major programs I know that you've done, and after school programs and stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit about school. School's starting up, and you always have the resources to help people with their homework and things.
Absolutely.
Some people are adopting a stay-at-home homeschooling. Many of them are doing virtual school,
Yeah.
and so they're following the guidelines and the structure, basically the plans lesson plans that the school puts out.
Yeah.
What all resources do you have to help people who are doing homeschooling or the virtual schooling from home?
So basically, one of the best things about our public library is that no matter what it is that you want to learn, you can come in and find resources to support it. So no matter what curriculum you're following, we definitely have things that will support that. And so that includes our books. Obviously, we have a giant collection of books. We also have CDs. We have things that people can listen to. So if you have a struggling reader at home, sometimes those audiobooks can really help get them feeling more comfortable with the story if they're listening to it. We have like language learning tools, so we have CDs where you can learn language if that's something that you're working on. But then we also have our online databases, so we have all different kinds of databases to learn different subject matter. And then we have the online World Book Encyclopedia, which is one of my favorites. I always sell that to people because it's a lot like the World Book Encyclopedia that we remember from being a kid, and you had them on the shelf and they were beautiful, except that it's really interactive. It gets updated all the time. So when my parents bought a set of encyclopedias in 1986, that stayed the same,
Nothing
forever.
updated, yeah.
So it doesn't get updated unless you want to buy another set of encyclopedias. So this is nice because it gets updated all the time. It's also really interactive. So a lot of times it'll give you here's more to explore. You can click on it. It'll take you to another article. And that way it kind of facilitates that enrichment and that kind of learning a little bit beyond. But it can help kids really feel comfortable. A lot of them are really comfortable with technology. And so the clicking around and learning things is a great method for them.
And this is accessible by home, so that
Yeah.
you don't have to go to the library.
Nope.
So this encyclopedia and all these resources are available online. Yeah. But in order to access it, first of all, you have to have a library card.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing you have to do before we get any further into this program, is know the fact that you got to have a library card. Tell our audience, how do you get a library card? Because it's free,
It's
first
totally
of all.
free,
So you cannot have a library.
Anybody who lives in McLennan County, anywhere in McLennan County, you can get a library card for free. And you can register for that online. So you can do that anytime, like after your kids go to bed or when you think about it, you can just go do that right away. once you sign up for the library card, you'll actually have access to those online resources like the online encyclopedia right away, but also our ebooks and our e-audiobooks. So that's really nice. And then that online card is good for 30 days. And then after 30 days, you come into the library and present your photo ID and something with your name and address, like a water bill or something like that. And we can get you upgraded to the little red plastic card, and you get one for your wallet, one for your keychain. It's very convenient. So
it gets you all involved with it,
yeah,
all the different things. But so much of what the library offers is you don't have to go in. And right now, with all the touch lists and all this kind of stuff and the safety with the COVID, you can do that from home, from your computer. So,
yeah.
And we're all learning
that's
to
not
live.
going anywhere either. So we always have those resources. And so even when we're able to get back to a little bit more normal life, those resources will still be around.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, I know some of the other programs that you've offered and that were coming up here in the fall that I typically would have you talk about.
Yeah.
For example, Bill Buckner would come in here and talk about the Genealogy Lockin.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
No, we're not going to have the lock-in in a traditional sense. So Bill is going to, he's going to be investigating doing some virtual programming, like they've done. They did some over the summer where they did their kind of their normal brown bag sessions, and we posted those online, which is great. So I think he intends to do some more of those kind of things. But as far as bringing everybody in and having the booths, that's something that we're not able to do this fall.
But that actually can help for some people because, like myself, I would probably not make the effort to go to the library, to go to the event that they have on a Friday, for example, that they lock in. But I might be able to just sign in and do some of the activities and learn without having to make that long hourly, 2-hour, 3-hour, whatever commitment and get involved and maybe social interact because sometimes I'm just not in the mood to social interact. And I can do it from home.
So
and I sound like a weird person. But I really, sometimes when I'm tired of working in the city and dealing with people all the time, it's not.
You just got to decompress a little bit.
Decompress, exactly right.
So
but
yeah,
no, that's another side. So,
it is, and it's great because one thing that we've learned through this, there's been some sort of unintended nice consequences, is that we've had people who maybe didn't have a library card before and then realized the value of it once they were cut off from a lot of their other resources, cut off from their regular school and things like that. And so we've had a lot of new card holders that have just joined gotten their library cards since March, since the shutdown. And so that's been really nice, but we're hoping with the virtual programming that we'll maybe able to reach a different audience. So maybe we get some new people excited about library programs.
Yeah. Well, that's what's amazing and what's neat. In fact, and a lot of people have always thought that in the 21st century that we're in now, libraries are not as necessary and are not as popular. Quite to the contrary with you guys. You're showing increased numbers, more library cards being signed up for, more activity.
Yeah.
And so libraries are a very important part and vital part of the community.
Definitely. And it's up to us to make sure that we are really in touch with the community and finding out what people need and want. And then we try to make sure those things are happening so that we are still relevant and vital to our community.
One of the other areas that you all offer, which is probably not being able to use, is your community meeting rooms, because you do make that available for socializing with qualified people that want to come in and have a meeting of some type. That's off limits right now as it is, but hopefully that will open up sometime as we get our positivity rate and some of the things the governor and the mayor both have talked about as far as getting our marks down lower when we have continually lower number of persons with COVID. But we're certainly through changing times, but that's another facility that you all have that you're not able to use right now.
Yeah. So that's one of the things. So we've had to eliminate completely meeting room use. We've also put away our normal furniture that we have out. Normally we have comfy chairs like these where people can kind of hang and they can read books or read magazines. We've had to eliminate those as well because it's just for people's safety, to make sure there's no congregating, and also that we can keep everything clean as best as we can.
If you should join us, we're visiting with Jessica Emmett, who is the, what is your title?
I'm the Community Services Supervisor.
Community Services Supervisor. Maybe it doesn't tell her title, but she's a great personality and front person for communicating all the great things happening at the library. All 4 libraries, for that matter.
All 4, yeah.
Well, now, we talked earlier about Miss Vivian retiring after 20 years, one of the storytime people and a children's story tellers, as it may be. But you've added a new person now.
We have.
Talk to us about Miss Jackie.
Yeah, so we're so excited to have Miss Jackie. Right now, she's at our central library, and so that's been awesome. It's an interesting time to start a new job for her, but she has so much warmth, so much personality, and so hopefully people will stop by the central library and meet her. And she has planned a lot of great things for the fall to kind of get her introduced into the community, so we can be kind of getting her face and name and personality out there via our social media presence and our website and stuff. But she's going to have some really cool craft demonstrations where she tells people like what they need, household items, how they can turn that into something awesome. And then at the library, they're going to have this very cool like hands-off science demonstration. So they have a lot of cool things planned. They're going to watch mold grow, where you can just come by periodically, see how it's progressing. In the spring, they have planned to get some caterpillars and watch them turn into butterflies. So it's going to be really neat. It's going to be a very cool way to observe science without having to necessarily do those experiments in school or do it in a hands-on way. So that way we can make those things happen.
Well, I know you mentioned the crafts demo, but you also she works in conjunction with Miss Stacy.
Yeah.
Miss Stacy does other things too.
Yes.
One of the programs you mentioned here in the notes that you gave me about book talks.
Yeah.
Talk about Miss Stacy's book talks and stories on the go that she does.
Yeah, so we started the book talks in August just to sort of fill that gap between summer and fall, and so we do those once a week. They air on our YouTube channel, and basically Miss Stacy picks a theme, and then she picks 3 books, gives us a little overview about what those 3 books are, and then she kind of talks about how they relate back to the theme. So the first one was about gardening and sharing, and so she picked 3 books that had that kind of a topic, and then talked a little bit about why that's a good thing to learn about gardening and to share, which we all know is good. So we're putting those out once a week, and we're going to continue that in the fall. They're super fun, really short little videos, less than 5 minutes, so you kind of learn about some different books, and then obviously you can come pick those books up at the library because we have them. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we talked a lot about kids, teenagers. Your teen programs, are they kind of carrying on the same way or what?
So our teen programs have we have a little bit of a break in teen programming right now. So we're going to have some cool online things available for them on our new website whenever we launch our new website. So in particular, we have kind of what we call like a tough topics page because sometimes teenagers want to learn about something that they might not want to ask an adult about, might be a little embarrassed about, or just even scared to find out what the answers are. So we've made those resources available so that they can kind of self-search those in a way where they have a little bit of privacy, and maybe they don't have that intimidation of having to walk up to a desk and ask about something that might be uncomfortable. So we've got that's definitely coming out, and that'll be out in September. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's move to adults because you have a large population of people who love to come to the library, read books and magazines and things. But some of that, has that changed there, or any programming changed for the adults?
Yeah, so like I said, we can't come in and sit and read. So we have our people who come do our puzzles or read magazines and spend a lot of time at the library, which is great. But right now, that's not what's happening. So we've got a couple of cool adult programs that are happening. One is our Books and Brews Club, which normally we go meet at different local food and drink establishments around town, kind of support our local businesses. So that's been a tough thing right now just because we can't get everybody together. So we've been doing Zoom meetings with that. So we're still reading our books, which is great. And I think the people that are joining in our Zoom meetings have said that it's really valuable. It's really nice to just socialize and kind of see faces that aren't work people, or family. So you just see a little bit of variety, which is nice. So we've got that going on. And then our other adult program that is going to be happening is our Anime and Manga Club, which was one that had started before and was continuing through the summer, planning to continue through the summer, but had to be put on hold, obviously, because we canceled a lot of our summer programs. But we've started it back up. And again, that's a Zoom meeting, so people can, join in and see each other, and they will watch segments of different anime shows, talk about the themes, talk about the artwork, that kind of thing. So it's a great, like, for people who are really into that, it's an awesome community to be a part of.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of our seniors, and I'm a part of that, who have learned a lot about Zoom and technology and the importance of having a computer with Wi-Fi or with internet connectivity.
Sure.
That's a new way to communicate. And that's getting the mind moving, too. So you at the library do a lot of great things that help people keep that mind going, and reading certainly is a good part of that and everything you do. So anyway, so the adults are still active as well.
Sure.
And we're hoping that they'll be able to open up on that too.
Yeah.
But, you mentioned about the new website. Let's talk a little bit about that, because every 3 to 5 years or more, we have to update websites. And that's one of the things we do in our department here. And we're looking at the same situation. So websites are always a great resource. You mentioned Facebook, and you mentioned YouTube, and all the technologies that we do. Talk about the website and what the new website is going to have, and about when it's going to launch.
Yeah. So like I said, libraries always try to stay innovative, always try to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the community where they are. And what we've learned over the last 5 or 10 years really is that people really expect to be able to interact with the library a lot online, and so they really want that website to function like a little mini location of the library where they can do a lot of those things. And so we've been looking at, like, how do we meet that need, and we are going to have a new website. It's going to start in September. So goal is September 1st, and that's the plan. So we're working on that right now to try to make sure that it's on brand with all of our other things, so that we kind of maintain those similar aesthetics. People know sort of the language that we're using is the same language we use on our social media, so people are really familiar with those kinds of things. And then we also are going to have, like I said, the tough topics pages. So we're going to have those for kids, teens, and adults, so that people can do that. And we also have a really special section that focuses on kindergarten readiness to help kids get ready for kindergarten. So if you are have kids that are in that age bracket, you're looking at those kinds of skills, how to get them reading, how to get them writing, how to get them interested in learning. And that's a really great way, especially if you're struggling with that. It's going to have a ton of resources, so that's going to be awesome. And then we also have a couple of great parts of the website that are going to help people decide what to read next, which in library world we call that reader's advisory. So we make advisements on what to read. But basically, when you get done with books, or if you finish a series and you go, wow, that was awesome, but I don't know where to go from here, our librarians love to tell people what to read next. And so we're making that available online too, through some forums and a couple of different other avenues, so people can get that advice.
Sounds like a great website.
Yeah.
It's going to be September the 1st. It's going to be the same URL, same address.
Yeah.
So it's wacolibrary.org.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same address, and it'll be able to be linked from our Waco City website, waco-texas.com. All of our websites go through that, and then we'll be able to take you directly if you don't want to remember all the address, or you have a question about that. So anyway, always exciting on that part of it, because the web is obviously a very important part of communication, and as you well know, in the communication business as it is. Yeah. So now, what other plans do you have, or are you currently using with Facebook or some of the other social media things? Let our listeners know what other ways they can connect electronically with you.
So we've got our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and those are pretty active, and they got really active while the buildings were closed, because it was our only way to communicate with people. So we're kind of staying on that course, really trying to make sure we have updated information with people so that they know those changes. So when we change our hours, things like that, make sure we communicate with that stuff. But we also have fun things on there too. So it's not just kind of the dry information. We do make book recommendations that way. And then because of our increase in virtual programming, we started posting things to our YouTube channel. So we have that now as well. We're always looking for more subscribers on that, to make sure people are, enjoying those virtual story times or any of the other content that we're putting out there.
Well, that's really great. That's really neat, stuff like that. Now let's go back kind of the beginning. We talked a little bit about what you all provide for people at school and homeschool and that kind of stuff. Do you have you don't have any curriculum, I don't think, but you have more support functions for homeschoolers and the people who need support from the virtual learning at home.
Absolutely. So anybody who is like working on school at home, whether they've chosen to homeschool or they're doing virtual learning through an existing school, they can definitely come to us, let us know what it is they want to learn about, if the unit's on space or the Alamo or whatever you've got. We've definitely got things that can help support that. And between, like I said, between the books and the online resources, definitely can help get you covered at whatever level. So all the way from little pre-K guys up to, college and graduate school, we can definitely help with those things.
One of the other things that I was kind of saving to the last, because I hate to bring out the bad news as it is, something that's always happens in the fall, which is a major event for the library and the Friends of the Library, is the annual book sale. And the book sale is not going to happen this year. A major, major change in plans.
Yeah.
That's where majority of the funding for the Friends of the Library organization, which supports all of you all's programs, a lot of them that you like to have and haven't had, some of them that you're having to create now, and the new programs and stuff like that. First of all, talk about the Friends of the Library and how important they are to your organization, and then what's being thought of regarding the Friends of the Library book sale and maybe an alternative or something like that.
Yeah, so our Friends of the Library are a great nonprofit organization. Their entire purpose is to support the library, so we love those guys. And we do count on them to help us do the things that are above and beyond basic library functions. So buying books, hiring people, those are the basic things. Pretty much everything above and beyond, we rely on our friends to help bring in the performers, to help, with any of those extra things that we do. They bought us a vehicle that helps us do outreach, which is awesome. So they really do support us, and they're invaluable. So that's great. It's very easy to be a friend of the library. It only costs $25 a year, and that's a very great thing if you love the library to kind of be a part of that organization. So the book sale, normally happens at the beginning of November, and this year they had actually bumped it up. It was going to happen in October, but it was going to be at the convention center. So as you know, the convention center right now is not open and having meetings, and nobody's having meetings. So that's where they kind of had to make that decision that they weren't going to have a traditional book sale this year. They are definitely looking into some alternatives to make sure that books can get in people's hands. Also, they just have a lot of books because we've continued to get donations, and especially as people have been home, they've been doing their spring cleaning, and so so lots and lots of donations, and we are running out of places to put them. So we want to get them into the hands of people who are going to enjoy them, and they're definitely looking at ways to do that. But the traditional kind of fall big book sale is it's not happening.
Is there a possibility, and I'm not asking for a commitment, but you're not in charge of it necessarily, but as things maybe get improved, something maybe in the spring even?
So normally we have the summer book sale, which happens at the West Waco Library, and it's a much smaller scaled back one. So something like that certainly in the realm of possibility.
Well, that's, we don't want to tell everybody totally not, but but, don't throw any books away. Don't throw them away. You can bring them by the library or whatever, that type of thing. You're still accepting donations and things like that. Still accepting
donations, especially at the West Waco Library. That's where the Friends of the Library, their warehouse and sorting room are over there. So that's the easiest place to make those donations.
Well, we've talked about a lot of great things, but the key thing you need to remember out of this whole conversation is you got to get a library card if you don't have one. Anybody can have one. What is the lowest age group?
5.
5 years old. So you need 5 years old or more. Get a free library card. And that opens the door for a lot of online things. And then also when you're ready to get in and go to the library, you can do all kind of programs and things, and things will get better. They are improving now, and we hopefully this after Labor Day and some of the other times that we're looking at starting of school, that maybe is going to be a challenge for us COVID participants. We're going to have to see how that impacts it, but we're hoping that things will open up and get back, as long as we all continue to wear our face masks. And Jessica and I are at least 8 feet apart here in our studio, so we've not had our face mask on, but we're observing social distancing. And I know you all at the library do the same thing. I know when you people go to the checkout or anything like that, you all are doing everything we can, as all businesses are, and we encourage that type of thing too. We got about a minute left. I want to make sure you've got anything else that you want to make sure we covered, because we've covered so many things. I want to make sure we don't lose that opportunity. But the new website will be launching in September, hopefully. And we'll put that information out on our website and promote that, and your Facebook and everything else. Join the Friends of the Library for $25 and just be a part of a great organization that
Yeah.
supports a lot of things. And if you really like things like genealogy, Bill Buckner would love to talk to you about the things. He would give you the resources on that.
Oh, yeah.
Anything you want to add?
That's it. No, that's basically it. Just make sure to pay attention to our website and our social media, and that's the best way to learn about updated things that are happening at the library. Because we are rolling with the punches and trying to be as available as we possibly can. So.
And really, thankfully, even though you've shortened your hours and things, you've not had to lay anybody off.
Right.
We've lost a few people through retirement or retention, just like any
Normal.
business
Yeah,
would.
absolutely.
But those have not been rehired necessarily. But that's all worked really good. So thankfully, we all still have our job, but we're ready to serve the public.
Yeah.
Jessica Emmett, who is with the Waco McLennan County Libraries, has been our guest. Jessica, appreciate all the energy and all the great information you've shared with us. Yeah. And I know the work that you're putting on the website.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're a major player on that.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us this morning.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.
We hope you'll join us again next week for more information about the City of Waco on City Talk. This program is produced by the Municipal Information Department of the City of Waco and is provided as a public service by this station.